didn't know now uyasazi, but andifuni simoshe xesha lininzi. Ndiyafuna mani ke singene kumba wanamhlanje siyazi into yobana ke sithi ke #ICT Summit 2023, and it is definitely the 17th annual summit. And ndifuna uyazi into yobana ke wena as Mr. MADYIBI and as the executive of Microsoft, yintoni role yakho in really advancing ICT?
Well, I think the first thing is to say, look, we've been partners with this particular initiative, I think, for more than 5 years now. We've been sponsoring as a Microsoft ICT Summit for more than 5 years. And the reason that CCN's on delay is because we think it is probably the second biggest platform up in South Africa when it comes to creating conversations around the direction of ICT in the country. But with particular focus on how to involve young people in the various streams that ICT offers. You will know that one of the challenges of ICT is that it's dominated mainly by big players, and those are the players that dictate the ICT agenda. So it's one of those markets, barriers are quite high. So obviously part of what we're doing, Microsoft being one of those big players that hopefully are not creating the high barriers. So one of the things we try and do with in partnership with the ICT Summit is to talk about opportunities that Microsoft has that will enable young people through their own companies to partner with Microsoft to be able to provide services that Microsoft does provide. Microsoft is a partner-led company, and what that means is that most of the services that we provide in the market, we do so in partnership with certain companies. We don't do this alone. So part of what we are exploring and continue to partner with the Eastern Cape government on is how do we create more of those opportunities for local entrepreneurs to be able to invest together with us in taking certain services in the market. And that's the biggest value I think that we get here and that we try and create as part of the players in this ICT Summit.
Most definitely. And I think I love the fact that you mentioned Indoye barriers, as also Prof. Mokheti did mention address Indoye ICT, or rather technology, can either be one of his that either raises or barriers that are actually there, because the lack of access and also infrastructure address whether people are able to actually see that as a barrier, see technology as a barrier or not. But dwell much on that. The role of is it AI, which is artificial intelligence? Role cloud computing.
So Microsoft has become one of the leading companies in the world to be rolling out the AI. And what AI really does is that it automates a lot of the services that were either being done by individuals or a group of individuals. So what that means is that any job that is based on the level of repetition that can be done through machine learning will be taken over by AI. So it's a big phenomenon that we're seeing. Obviously, one of the big anxieties that people have is the fact that a lot of people are going to lose jobs as their jobs get automated. People are going to lose their jobs. But I think what people are also missing, and that is true. I mean, a lot of jobs are getting automated, and but I think what you're also missing is that as jobs get automated, there are new jobs that get created, and there are new opportunities that arise. But what's necessary for us to have is the skills to make sure that as those opportunities are coming up, as those jobs are coming up, we have a set of especially young people that are skilled to take over those opportunities. So one of the things Microsoft announced about 2 weeks ago, which we then announced with the Premier for Eastern Cape, is that Microsoft will be training about 300,000 young people on a range of AI skills nationally. And including specifically around Eastern Cape. We've identified a number of jobs that we know are going to be affected by AI. We've identified a number of jobs that are going to be created as a result. And I think what we need to do, and not just from a Microsoft perspective, but as a country as well, is to prepare for those new opportunities by way of training and partnering with government, making sure that we extend those opportunities to young people is something I think that we were talking about this morning, and it's something that we've started a partnership on and something that I think we're gonna drive aggressively with the local government based in Cape to make sure that young people become beneficiaries of those opportunities.
Oh, definitely. Ngoku ndifuna ukuyiva kuwe ke Mr. MADYIBI into yobana ke in as much as mhlawumbi awungomntu to say or not to say whether ikhona indlela esinoyinqanda ngayo laa nto yobana sinaloyiko as young people ba oh Yehova mhlawumbi thina we already have a set of skills ebesinayo mhlawumbi that are not necessarily matching up to the upcoming artificial intelligence, so mhlawumbi ikhona indlela esingakhawulelana nawo lo mba lowo.
Look, the only way is to learn and relearn. Technology is changing every day, and not just AI, right?
Yes.
Technology is changing across the board. There are apps that are on your phone that were not on your phone last year. And for you to be able to use those apps effectively, what do you need to do?
You need to
really learn, exactly, to relearn what that app offers you. If it's got guidelines that tell you how to use the app, you have to go and learn what are those guidelines so that you can then use the app effectively. And AI is no different, right? It's a new phenomenon, but it offers opportunities for people to relearn. So the only way that people are going to survive this digital era is by being open to learn and relearn and unlearn certain things as well, because there are also old habits that we have from a technology perspective that we have to leave behind in order for us to be able to take in the new ones that we need to have. So my advice to young people will be prepared to be open to learning and really learning, because that's the only way you stay on top of it.
Most definitely. And ndiyayicinga ke loo nto ithetha noba we should actually do away with the rigidness of us believing so much into izinto esiziqhelileyo. It should us be open to change and open-minded to change, because change is about, like, it's inevitable. Ndifuna ukuyiva ke ngoku into yobana ke before siyivale siyaphi from here, where to from here. There's also this is the 17th annual. I mean, we've come a long way. And uchilo nobana ke you've been running 5 years with the summit also. So zikhona ke mhlambi izinto esizijongileyo in the future.
Look, summit by its design, it's a, I don't want to call it a talk shop, but it's a platform for discussions. It's a platform waiting to get announced.
Yes.
A lot of things got announced today. A lot of things are going to get announced tomorrow. But what is important is what happens after the summit, right? Because whatever gets announced, whatever gets discussed, has to be executed. Otherwise, if we discuss stuff here and leave it here and then come back next year,
discuss new things,
exactly, and leave, then we really have a talk shop, right? And that's not what this is designed to do.
And just with that said, and from last year's summit, that you had discussed and actually set probably as goals and also as objectives, because for you to reach a certain goal, there are certain steps that you need to take. And looking back in hindsight, you were like, these are the things that we've set from the previous year and we've definitely achieved them.
Look, there's two things that we had said. I won't say we've completely achieved them.
Yes.
And I think I've mentioned both of them. The first one is around skills. I mean, we spoke last year about the necessity to have skills to make sure that young people acquire certain skills to be able to start these companies, to be able to start these entrepreneurial journeys. So we discussed that last year, and I think there's a lot of ground that has been covered around that. I mean, there are numbers that we can talk to in terms of people that have been trained between then and now. But remember, when it comes to skills as well, it's not just about skills these days. It's about how does a skill then create an opportunity for you to be the base of that skill. Because just to acquiring a skill that doesn't give you a job at the end of the day is useless, right? So I think the jury is still out on what the numbers look like in terms of how those skills are translating into job opportunities. So that's probably something that I think by next year we have to be ready to report on and say, look, this is a journey that we've traveled from skills perspective, but this is a transformation of those skills into actual jobs that people have then been able to acquire. So that's the first thing. The second one is around SMME development. Again, last year we talked a lot about SMME development. As Microsoft, we announced some programs that we're embarking on in the province. We've executed on some on those programs. Again, the numbers are coming in terms of how many people have been beneficiaries with their company or through their companies. Being able to execute as Microsoft partners from that. So it's a journey around, I think for us, it's going to continue to be a journey around those two particular things from year to year, but just making sure that we're increasing the numbers, because ultimately it's about how many more people. South Africa has got one of the biggest problems of unemployment in the world, and everybody has to play their part in making sure that on a year-to-year basis we increase the post of the numbers that we're able to deal with in trying to address the issue of unemployment.
Definitely. Ndiyacinga ke loo nto iyathetha into yobana ke Microsoft in partnership with the annual ICT summit, confirming that the future is really promising. Even to the young people out there that are still mhlambi on the lookout for jobs and also opportunities within the ICT space. So siyabulela kakhulu Mr. MADYIBI for even giving us the chance to have a conversation like this with you and actually giving us ithemba lobana the future is promising for as long as we've got open minds to it.
Thank you, and thank you for inviting me. It was
Definitely.
really a pleasure.
Thank you so much, Mr. MADYIBI. Mr. MADYIBI Lowo, it was the executive of Microsoft, giving us a bit of insight on this that it actually it's very important that we do make it a point about we have open minds to technology, and even if but change is inevitable. So definitely, you're still tuned in on the KNR Drive with myself, MIWKY, and Miss Keke Lowo, kanti uvuyo kamtingi akanilahlanga betnana uzawufika in a few, but for now definitely we're killing it, and my city Tina